Hi there. Yeah, so I was thinking about something. I was watching Will Tennyson spend 24 hours living like a Instagram fit girl. Yeah, cool dude, really funny, wonderful. Honestly, love it. Right. I got to thinking about how sticky and terrible certain kinds of plant-based proteins are, right? They're like really terrible. They just stick to everything, but they're like better. There's less inflammation. It's less harmful to the environment. Yeah, there's more bioavailability, absorption shit. But that then eventually led to other things that I was thinking about. Because ADHD brain, right? So it's just like, oh, hey, guess what? Um, Micro reactors from Halo for the Mjolnir armor, right? Like, what was the thing that led, what was that? And it's like, oh, right. So, like, if you want to make, like, this, kind of lamp right here, it's like, oh, okay, so the bulb's got water in it, you got Cherkov radiation, right? But it's like, oh, there's potential energy on the bulb, and then, like, it then grounds itself to, this quartz and uranium, or, in fact, actually, I use a lithium, carbon, and potassium, right? Radioactive isotopic element, which they're actually really pretty cheap to buy. And so, like, if you don't know anything about radioactivity, right, you only need light, medium, and heavy materials, right? And you gotta put them in the right arrangement, which allows for a neutron absorption, which increases heat, right? Which is why they call it spicy boil water, usually. Yeah. However, that's not really that big of a deal, right? Like, spicily boiled water is like whatever, right? But it's like piezoelectrics, okay? Piezoelectrics is always easy. Charge differential is always easy. Cherkov radiation means ionization. Then it becomes easier because that's a field effect that allows for it to ground itself to the, of course, filamental wire that you can make. You only need like little plates, little tiny ones, and then you only need like them to be close enough, and then you can slide them forward, and wouldn't you know it, you get radiation that then doesn't do any radioactivity, because it's a very small thing, right? So like it never actually comes out of the bulb. There's no radioactivity you have to deal with. You don't get radioactively hit. That's kind of the thing. But you do get the Cherkov radiation, which is an ionization of the water. You get this beautiful blue glow, right? But it's like, hey, yeah, I'm going to keep that as a cascade resonance pulse. So it like generates an electrical field that then goes and dumps back down. That increases radioactivity. Then that then cools off, and all of it. I just got to have like a little reservoir off just in case it ever gets too hot, for like the water. Standard stuff. It's a constant, always there light bulb that seems to work for fucking hundreds of years. Because you don't need a lot of radiation to make it actually do that. It's basically barely any radiation. You know what I mean? Just got to get close enough. And most of it's producing electricity, which 90% efficient piezoelectrics here, dude. That's pretty good. The quartz bulb, piezoelectric, you can't do it. Are you sure? I'm pretty sure you can. And it's like, well, you can always blend in the quartz with a better piezoelectric. That's not impossible to do, right? And it's like, yeah, right. Meanwhile, sun set over there, bastards, right in my fucking eyes. I hate it. But it's like, yeah, no, you can do that, Like, and then that's its own fucking way of like layering multiple different. Because it's like, oh, we're terrible at creating crystalline structures in glass. We're so bad at all of this. We could never do it. No, we can do that. We know what we're doing on that. We clearly know, right? And it's like, no, we don't have any of these other piezoelectrics that could be set. No, you can do that. You're stupid. Shut up. Like, you can clearly do it. If some fucking knob that eventually ruined his entire life because he wanted to go back to being famous, although, like, that's only as a knob as a result of later on, but this is the Boy Scout kind of problem. Like, the guy did it. Say what you want, that's America eats you alive, fame bullshit, that's terrible stuff. But the point is, it's like, yeah, but he was able to build off of just some basic shit, his own reactor. It's not that hard to do. Fact of the matter is, you can make a really small one. So there's like, oh, right, we're talking about the Mjolnir armor. And it's like, there's no way that we can layer a sterling piezoelectric engine that's thermoacoustic based upon similar designs to like, oh, I don't know, like submarines or something, with this basic bitch design that utilizes piezoelectrics. And oh wait, if I release a lot of light, what if I capture a lot of that light? What if I release it in such a way that it cascade resonances with a sonoluminescent effect that then gives me greater amounts of total light that I can absorb, that's better for these types of thermo and regular photovoltaics, right? Standard photovoltaics. Yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, no, I can totally do that. That's really actually quite a bit easier than you think. Behold Pico Reactor. That's right. Little yawner, little fucking, dildo having motherfucker over here produces megawatt hours, which is actually pretty easy to do. Now, granted, it's kind of not. Most people want it to turn into like a thermo, but it's like, no, the piezoelectrics here are a constant, source of increased electrical energy, right? And so thermoacoustically speaking, it's not about the light. The light just helps that effect. So we want to increase the total charge differentials, which, for what it's worth, it's also the charge differentials in a polar molecular structure called water. Yeah. So it's like that actually, thermoacoustically, again, like this is aligning polar structures, so molecular structures they're in, that improve the given effect and the given amount of total electrical conductivity throughout all of it during multiple different stages. So these aren't phases, these are stages. You don't have a phase change. There's no need for a phase change. That's the thing, But like people might not know that. So like here's an electromagnetic field and electrostatic field. So electrostatic versus electromagnetic, right? Like permanent magnet versus electrostat, which has a huge charge, like very positive, right? Right. Now we use that to our advantage with piezoelectrics that are highly sensitive and incredibly good, right? Well, here's the problem. Okay. It's like those ones are really good for highly specific applications. Okay, this is one of those, so you're gonna have to shut up about that. But like, they're generally not the best for everything. Okay, and it's like, well, silicon then with oxygen is just, oh yeah, no, I've never managed to come up with any way. Actually, wait, no. What about others? Because I've never done it. Is there any TSMCs here? Any Intels, AMDs, anything? Let's say PCB way, maybe? Is there something here? Anyways, point is, there seems to be a few people out there that might actually be able to know a thing or two about that have already done basically all of that themselves. Seems like it's not that hard. And I can't make bendier glass that's tempered? What if I just added in like, I don't know, some thorium or uranium to this quartz glass and put it in an array? Right? And it's like, wait, why would I put it into an array? Well, I mean, I have the lithium and the carbon, which is ubiquitous everywhere. That's what we use for radioactive isotoping for the carbon. And then we have the lithium, which is pretty ubiquitous, and potassium, like every fucking banana and potassium fucking standard. Today I learned, here's a funny little fucking fact for you, kind of level of shit, So it's like, no, we got tons of this actually. Yeah, your battery probably has a bunch of it, the lithium. So it's like, whatever. But it's like, it's 1% of 1%. Yeah, but lithium's pretty good for batteries, ain't they? And then potassium too, huh? Capacitors, right? Like quartz, right? Or silicon. Carbon, yeah, some carbon nano onion balls that you could make from like, I don't know, some fish scales and a couple seconds in a microwave here. Yeah, those things, they're pretty good for capacitors, especially when you dope them with radioactive elements that happen to like not be all super radioactive and they're near a bunch of carbon. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like, wait, no, you definitely have the way to make this fucking totally possible with multiple little fucking, plates, I guess, at that point, right? It's got to be offset the right way. That's all you got to do. It's like, hey, behold, it's all this tiny little package. So I got to get the nanomaterials. Okay, fine, I'll get the nanomaterials. Whatever. So I have to put a bunch of nanomaterials together, and I got them all in your armor megawatt hour fucking reactor. Not that hard to do. What's so bad about it? Why don't you do it? Well, it's radioactive and I'm scared of it. And you also don't have the money and all the rest of it, and yeah, no, and then what are you really going to use it for, right? You're just powering your fucking vehicle with your electric motor, right? You know what I mean? I could never do that for any of my electric planes. This tiny, barely radioactive fucking goddamn little tiny reactor, little pico reactor, little micro reactor, it flies around. There's no fucking amount of radioactivity that could really cause that kind of level of harm. Flying you around with electric fucking motors strapped to some propellers. I can't put any, like, oh, I don't know, piezoelectrics on the plane, or what's that, solar photovoltaics that get more efficient the higher altitude you get? Is that a thing that they do? Yeah, they seem to do that, yeah. Is there charge differences that I could use that we like usually ground out on the fuselage of certain planes? Are you sure I couldn't use that to my advantage, perhaps? I couldn't heat up some air with like this light that's coming in that I don't like have the ability to absorb. And make it a little bit more buoyant by just getting a really small reactor, you know what I mean? And just throwing it in there, chucking it in, you know? Well, you know, it's not even, you have a small amount of radiation. Yeah, well, yeah, no, sure, yeah, no, but so does banana. It's just highly concentrated. What's the problem? But banana different. That's clearly what no. The banana not that bit different. No. You power a bunch of bananas together, same amount of radiation. Same thing, you know, what's the difference? Is it highly concentrated? Oh, no. When it explodes, yeah, no. Little tiny nanogram and, you know, microgram and something, you know, and then it's gone. Where is it? Where is it? Fuck you. I just want to know. Where is it? We got a big guy over here that wants to fucking say it's really shitty, like hydrogen and fucking shit. You know what I mean? But it's like, wait a second. It kind of is, you know, depending, like, if it's buoyant or something. Well, sort of. It depends here. Like, you know, there's some caveats to that. We're not terrible at, you know, doing that. There's always going to be a failure rate. And, you know, take a look at all the fucking planes crashing these days. I'm just saying it's not exactly the worst idea in the world, you know. I don't personally myself want to do the hydrogen thing. I'm a vacuum guy. You know me. I do the vacuums. I tend to prefer vacuums because they're the lightest thing you can get. You know, like you can't get less than nothing, you know. So there's that. Yeah. But like, you know, performance-wise, like people go, oh, vacuum will implode. And I'm like, yeah, well, it depends. I mean, what are you going to do, you know? Like, you got the right fiber, you got the right internal structure, it's sealed. It basically tries to compress itself against itself, and, you know, it's not going to really be able to do that much. If it's strong enough, then it doesn't really do anything. But it's like, fiber, you can't do anything with fiber. Can't do, look at my fucking, you know, just imagine I have this here. This is my carbon fiber fucking scuba tank, you know, it's impossible. I can never use that. I can't have this self-sealing, like, I'll poke a thing, you know, inoculate something, you know what I mean, in this fucking jar. I can't do that. There's no self-sealing materials whatsoever. That's impossible. They don't exist. Get that out of here. Go away. Just imagine somebody trying to bring it over here. Like, no, they don't exist. That's not a thing. It doesn't happen. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure it happens. I'm pretty sure we're smart now. I'm pretty sure we know a few things. I'm pretty sure we know a few things now. I'm pretty sure, dude. Like, we're not that bad at it. So it's like, all right, so we can do it. It's like, yeah, no, we can do it. Yeah, we can get the microreactor. We can get the fucking little plane. We can get the fucking car. We can get the whole thing. Right now, we can do it. All right, now, sure, I mean, what are you going to do about, like, hey, the potassium, I have to dump off the potassium. Oh, no, my potassium levels are low. I'll just give it to my sunflowers and eat the shit out of it later. Right, sunflower seeds that have all these potassiums in the. Whatever am I gonna do? I can't hold all these potassiums. Anyways, but it's like, okay, so it's like, all right, so we got, the lithiums. No, I don't like that with my batteries. I don't like that, okay, sure, no. My carbon. You mean everywhere? And last I checked, you're not being irradiated by it, you fucking weirdos. It's like, of course you have it. You've got it done. There's like, there's uranium. There's, okay, you don't have to use uranium, to be fair. You don't really have to. It's just one of those things where it's like, it's going to soup it up. Like, depending on your array here and what it is that you're trying to do, depending on the isotope that we're talking about and how ubiquitous and, of course, cheap it is to get and acquire, that allows for you to get a better system, right? And that's what it's about. It's not about outright performance. It's about it works really well. I don't want to fucking do anything other than it works really well. That's all I wanted to do. That's all I needed to do. All right, so it's like, hey, I 3D printed this, I do the mold thing, I do the like glass cast, I do the blah 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 thing, right? Sure, it costs a little bit initially. Sure, okay, yeah. But I have megawatt hours. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not nothing. Now, granted, I'm talking about theoretical maximum performance, over systems like that, right? And a nano metamaterial like structure at that point. But, like, you don't need to go that hard. Like, you could get a couple of them. I mean, it's just so bad, right? Like, come on, dude. Like, you can't make it be, like, a little bigger, like, get a couple of them. And like, hey, look, instead of megawatt hour, like let's say like there's like 10,000 watt hour. Let's do that, like a 10 kilowatt hour, right? Like, hey, it's still pretty good, dude. Like then they're just gonna last for decades. This is so bad. No, let's do it, right? Like, why wouldn't we do it, right? But it's like, why don't you do it? I don't have money. Give me some. I'll try. Yeah, no, I'll go fucking get a home lab. I'll do the whole thing. I'll fucking figure it out. Give me some money. Yeah. You're the one with the home lab if you're watching this. You're the one that has the knowledge to do this. You're the one that can do it. Why aren't you going to? Huh? Why don't you want to? Well, well, there's that. Anyways, if there's ever any new, like, protein that's like fucking bugs and the fucking fungus and all these really easy to get all the protein plant things and then like no longer sticks. It's like glue. It's like concrete glue to get this shit off. It's the worst. I don't care how long I soak it for. I could boil water in this fucking shit. It doesn't get rid of that fucking stupid protein. I hate it. It's the worst. This is where kind of some of it came from. I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I hate that shit. It's the worst. But whey protein, it's like, it's really cheap, except over here in America, it comes with a bunch of baggage. There's a lot of lead, there's a lot of other heavy metals, and it's not good. And then there's the fact that it, like, the environment, it's not as absorbative, and it's a whole bunch of other shit. Not everybody can handle even that type of whey because lactose or whatever allergy that could be, So, like, there's that. So, but, most people don't really have any issues with fungus and so on, but you never know. If there's ever any, like, actual real good science for any of that, which even then, like, fungus and bugs are everywhere. Like, we could do that right now. I mean, I'm the same, chit-chatting here, like, hey, I drink the fucking shit water that's been processed. I'm going to be honest. Hey, you can laugh all you want, but the water is processed. I don't care. It has no shit left in it. It's just water. It's been mineralized. This is kind of where it came from. I was like, well, UV light and a little bit of, quartz and uranium glass, tubes, right? And it goes through after you pre-filter it, like that kind of thing. You run it through a vacuum kind of situation. Goes through. You got a little reflection there, here and there, right? It's like, hey, well, that'll pretty much fucking destroy and sterilize that water, I've got to say. You just got to go through, and filter it out. That's not too bad. Like, honestly, filtering it out isn't too bad. That's the thing, right? Like, this is where it came from, right? It's like, wait a second. It's not that hard to filter out most of any of those bioorganic and synthetic compounds that you don't want in that water, even if they're not going to really ever hurt you, right? By that point, they're gone. Like, there's nothing there that's actually bad for you, right? But it's like, okay, it's super cheap because I came up with it as a direct result of wanting to figure out for space travel ultra hardcore cheap and efficient sterilization and filtration methods, right? And it's like carbon nano onion. Okay, yeah, some fish scales in a fucking microwave for like 10 seconds, apparently. Granted, you know, it's a little bit more. I'm sure the microwave is a little bit different that they use, and then the fish scales, right? You have to clean them, process them, all that. But the point is, though, right? It's like, it's not that bad. Really pretty easy, right? And it's like, well, that's a fucking already activated carbon filter, and it can handle like lots of different amounts of charge, and they can be made to puff up and become piezoelectrics in their own right. You can dope them and stick them together to like silicon and oxygen. You know what I'm seeing here, right? Like I can put in like a little bit of, like, so thorium, you got uranium. Like, not all uranium is fissionable, by the way. Like, it's doable to turn into something that's actually, you know, radioactive in some manner, right? And it's not really going to damage your skin or anything, but you wouldn't even be near it. It'd be trapped behind, you know, like a big old whatever the fuck thing, yeah, like a steel or something that, granted, myself, it's like, well, it's got a lot of water in it. I think that'll absorb the majority of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's got a lot. And then, like, you could put a little bit of tungsten and silicon carbide together, you know, and like a little fucking tungsten powder isn't that hard to do. You just gotta melt it into like a bit of a plastic, and you got like a t-shirt press. A t-shirt press will work for that, by the way. Like, that's what that is, you know. It's just got to plate it a little bit with some nickel, you know, do the layering, and then, hey, wouldn't you know it, that basically stops all radiation from something of a small-ass sort like that. It's a very small amount of radiation, right? So it's like, really, we're not talking about corium I have to defend against here. You're not talking about, like, a melted radiation, you know, reactor-level stuff, you know. We're talking about, like, barely anything here that's really there. So it's like, it's actually way more reasonable to do that. And it's super lightweight because you only need a little bit of it, you know, to do the work. So it's like, oh, why wouldn't I do that? It's like, I don't know, man. Like, we seem to be not doing a lot of the things that we seem to be able to do. And it seems kind of weird. You know, it's like, we could do that. Nothing's wrong with that. Like, we can do that. There's nothing wrong. Like, we got electricity from that too. I mean, that's a reactor. It's a filter reactor. Look at my filter reactor. Whoa, filter reactor, right? But it's like, that is literally what it is. It's a filter reactor that uses charge, which is what the MIT people did, you know, to use charge to ultimately filter water, right? And then you can use vibration, sonoluminescence, and light to basically continue filtering it. Why wouldn't we do it? We make electricity for doing it. Why wouldn't we do it? I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. Just saying. You know, then like, hey, you want a higher heat and all that situation. It's like, well, you know, sodium still works. You know, we can always have a heat exchanger. That's a waste heat generator right there, basically. That's like totally able to be put into your you know, car and your plane and your boats and all that. The rest of it, you know, so I don't know, man. It seems like you can make them pretty damn small. Like, why wouldn't you do that? They're generator batteries at that point. You know, you can filter the air and or water, depending on how you set it up. Like, most of what that is, it does that. It sterilizes things to and or helps catalytic reactions or any number of things. Like, I don't know why we wouldn't do it. We don't even need a lot to make that work. You need very small nano to micron and even like some milligrams at best to get that done. I don't know. You know, but that's like collaboration with multiple different departments and fields of science. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It seems kind of like one guy kind of brute forced that pretty easily. I'm the one guy here. You know, what's the problem? It doesn't seem like it's that hard. I'm just saying. What's the issue? You know. Like, anyways, point I'm trying to make is like, hey, fungus and bugs and chitin. It's chitin, man. That's a bunch of hydrocarbons. Most people maybe don't know that, but that's you decay, you break that down, and you put a little fungus in there, and like, hey, you can turn that into a bunch of starches that immediately turn into ethanols, really easily, like exceptionally easily, and nitromethanes too, and oils. So it's basically everything you want out of a car. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but like the point is yeah, but you get a lot of protein and you get a lot of other things that you want out of it. Battery materials, right? So anyways, point is, have a good one. Just decided to record that because I figured why not? Why? And yeah.